Welcome back, Shalligators. Well, as promised, this is a second part to our video yesterday about Halsey and motherhood and all that stuff because, yeah, Halsey's pregnant. Wild. I mean, it's not wild because she's been really vocal about how badly she's wanted a baby for several years now. But yesterday we talked about who is this baby daddy? Like, he seems to have come kind of out of nowhere. Maybe they had a super low pro relationship. Today, we're going to talk a little bit more about their relationship because we've got some new details that have come up that are like, okay. And what happens to a relationship when kids come along? I can't speak on this firsthand, but I can speak on data. And we're data-driven people around here because the numbers do not lie, child. So we're going to get into it. Just to remind you guys, follow me on Instagram. Be sure to sign up for my super intimate blog where I talk a lot about motherhood and stuff. And just a lot of things I'm going through. It's called Eat, Pray, Love. You can click the link right down there. And before we get going, here's just a little word from our sponsor. It's about sex. Well, Shalligators, Valentine's Day, Shallontine's Day, is upon us. And one thing I've realized is that the world is divided into two categories of people. People are afraid of their bodies and sex is dirty. Meh, I have vanilla, boring, missionary position, quiet sex. And the rest of us. And we deserve to be rewarded for that, I think. So, as a special thank you to you guys, I partnered with Adam and Eve, the #1 adult retail site in the world, for a special discount just for you guys. If you go to adamandeve.com, you get 50% off of one item plus free shipping to the US and Canada. Some exclusions apply, but honestly not many. So whether you're looking to spice things up with a partner or you're single and not quite ready to mingle, there's never been a better time to explore your body, get in touch with your sexuality, just be weird and do cool stuff. They've got everything from fun lingerie and novelty products to things a little bit more outside the box, bondage gear, vibrators, stuff I quite honestly don't even know what they do, but I'm excited to find out. So head over to adamandeve.com, use code Shallon for 50% off one item. Happy Valentine's Day, Shalligators. Thanks, other Shallon. Okay, Halsey. So in the day since she announced this, like, some details have come out about her baby daddy. He's, I guess he's Turkish. I thought maybe he was Russian with his name, Alav Aydin. But I guess it's Turkish. That's hot. The baby could be bilingual. That's pretty neat. I mean, not a lot of people out there speak Turkish, so that's kind of dope. Maybe I should learn it. I can't learn it. He's a screenwriter. Like, okay, cool. And apparently these two have matching tattoos on their feet that they got right after Father's Day, which is in June. So they at least had met like by that time. And they got a tattoo that says seeds on their feet. Okay, all right. We've looked at the pictures of Halsey pregnant. And remember yesterday, I was like, she looks to be about 6 or 7 months pregnant. So I would guess she got pregnant in like June or July. Father's Day is in June. Is in June. And so it kind of tracks that they would get something that says seeds. I'm sorry, just that's the most spermy word in. I shall deposit my seed into the woman, and she will bear me many sons who will bear sons of their own. Like, is this a verse in the Bible? Why literally just get the word jizz on your foot or sperm? Just get an actual sperm. The little tail. Okay, so one of their tattoo artists spilled the beans about tattooing them in June. And oh my God, Halsey just sounds crazy as a sack of weasels. So this is what the tattoo artist said. Halsey said when they came in about why they wanted the tattoo. Halsey said that everything with so much. Halsey said that everything with how the planets were aligned and where the cosmos were at that moment indicated that it was the best time to plant seeds into the ground of life. They wanted to get the words on their feet because it was closest to the earth. It's so like literal. I mean, it's cute. It's cute. I just wish Halsey didn't feel the need to tattoo every emotion she ever has on her body. She has so many tattoos and they're all so kind of like scrawly and like disjointed. They look like my middle school notebook, honestly. But, you know, good for her. She's like the tattoo chick. Okay. I mean, oh God. All right. So they had matching tattoos in June. So they maybe knew each other, let's say. So by then she would have known she was pregnant. She could have been very freshly pregnant. I cannot imagine these two were dating earlier than 2020. So again, that's a year. We love to think we know people after a year. We love to think we know people after one date. I know because I talked to you guys about this. I had this amazing date with this guy and we just connected so hard and I like him so much and then I didn't hear from him again. Like, you don't know him at all. You don't know him at all. You know his social mask, which he paints every night very specifically and meticulously. You know exactly the version of himself he wants you to see. Who the hell can't present a charming version of themselves for 2 hours? What do I say? You know who it's going to be about? What do I say? You know who was a delight at parties? Adolf Hitler. He had a reputation for being quite the charmer at parties. He's obviously not in the long run, but that just goes to show that if a huge, deranged, one-testicled psychopath can charm the pants off people like Coco Chanel at a party, maybe this fuckboy on Tinder can charm you too. I say this not because I want you guys to feel stupid. I want us to be aware. And I want us to look at the long game in terms of data about people, right? Because we are also curating who we are. And if we're not, girl, we should be. The worst thing you can do on a date or in a new relationship is just bleh, just this absolute emotional info dump. And I did that for a lot of years. By the end of the second date, they knew absolutely everything about me. I mean, everything short of like my email password. You know all my childhood trauma. You know my career. You know all my coworkers, my best friends. It's like, I came off as absolutely insane, right? Just so overwhelming and intense. And also, there was nothing left to know. There was nothing left. Like, do you have any follow-up questions? They're like, no, I don't, right? But that's not what we're here to talk about. The point of all of this, what I'm saying, is because when we meet someone, we have this fantasy, and this fantasy is supported by the media. Baby to save the marriage, closer than ever after baby, so in love after baby. We see it on Instagram. Oh my God, you're just all cuddled up to three of us, little family. Hashtag girl dad, hashtag best mom. We have been given the idea that after you have a baby, your relationship satisfaction goes up. You're just one little family. You're a family now. Girl. Numbers say otherwise. According to a study published in the Journal of Family Psychology in 2011, 67% of relationships, their marital satisfaction, and you know what, let's take out the word marital because this is not just married couples. And because unmarried couples think, we've gamed the system, we tricked the system because we skipped a wedding. Nope. The dissatisfaction that comes with having a child is precisely the same whether you're married or unmarried. Also, if you're a same-sex couple, they're not immune to this either. 67% reported less satisfaction, less sexual intimacy, less emotional intimacy, and higher levels of abject misery after you have a baby. It is natural for us women to think that and I was victim to this too. I fell for a guy one time who was just a fucking mess. And I had this weird urge to have his baby. And I realized, with so much shame now because it was like so obvious. Looking back, I was like, that will make him plug into me. That will make him love me and see me as like his baby mama. Oh, he's just gonna love me so much. And he's gonna love little baby and baby. No. And it's very easy to look at data and say, well, 67% went down, but that means 30-some% went up. If 67% of planes crashed, would you get on one? I wouldn't. If you had a 67% chance of getting in a car and flaming out and crashing, would you get in it? I wouldn't. Why would you roll the dice with children? To me, that's as catastrophic as a plane crash or a car crash. What's really the difference? It's destruction, it's misery. If anything, it's so much more long-term. But we have some more data. So this is an article written by Matthew Johnson. He's a professor of psychology and director of the Marriage and Family Studies Lab at a university in upstate New York in Binghamton. He wrote an article called Why Having Children is Bad for Your Marriage. That's the headline. The deck, which is like the sub-headline, it's usually worth it though. Why having children is bad for your marriage, but it's usually worth it. Why getting on a plane that's probably going to crash is actually worth it. What could someone say in an article titled that about plane crashes that would ever compel you to get on that fucking plane? I cannot think, you're going to get a lot of cool peanuts. Those little Cheez-It bags, you can't just find those anywhere. No. And so reading this head in this deck is, you already lost me. Okay, so here's what he has to say. And he was part of a study, like there was this mega study that went on a few years ago. I mean, people have been studying marital satisfaction. And again, we're using this in context of partnership satisfaction and how it relates to having children. They've been studying this for 4 decades, right? So there is a lot of research to draw upon. A lot. This isn't like I took a sample outside Hot Topic at the mall. No. So he has a rather ominous phrase that he leads with. The course of true love runs downhill. The first year of marriage, marital satisfaction goes down, right? And if it keeps precipitously dropping, it usually leads to divorce, as one can imagine. So that's just how things go without kids. Then when you factor in children that come along, the rate of decline in marital satisfaction doubles. It doubles. You're not just like boop, 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 boom. It is a sharp decline. Why? Things that were once romantic now become mundane. There's no more flirty texts. Now there's like, did you pick up the fucking diaper? Parents, they go from lovers to parents. They have a more business-like relationship. As you can imagine, that takes an insane toll on sexual satisfaction. If you talk to any woman who's had a baby and she's got a newborn baby, you know what she doesn't want? To be touched. She doesn't want to be touched anymore. She's got a thing on her boobs, a thing on her heart. It's pulling her hair. It's vomiting all over her neck. She's sleep deprived. Homeboy comes home. He wants to get it on. And she's like, I don't want any part of another person on my person. And you cannot blame her. Her body that was once sexual, and these were for sex and for fun, now they're utilitarian. Her vag is blown out because something exited her body. I mean, she is going through it. And that, it's not her husband's fault. Everything's their fault. But it is what it is. And so that harmony is going to suffer. And if you've ever been in a relationship where either you're not having sex, you don't want to have sex with that person, you're not attracted to them, or you have bad sex, you're dead in the water. It's just, you're a dead man walking, right? Sex is the glue that holds someone together. Sexual chemistry and that sexual bond is a thing that keeps you from stabbing someone over peanut butter or how they folded the sheets, right? Because otherwise, they're just this irksome creature who needs from you when you already have another irksome creature who does nothing but take. Only you're hardwired to love this one. You look at the husband, it's like, who the fuck are you? What do you want from me? I feel like I can relate to this because my career is my baby and it takes so much of me. It doesn't take it from here. It takes it from here and from my heart. But I mean, in my relationship with Vince, like at the end of the day, I had like nothing to give to him. And therefore everything he wanted from me felt like such a sacrifice and a hardship. And I remember one time I was like, what do you need? What? And he's like, I just wanted a hug. I just wanted to like lay with you for a minute. And I was like, oh, I'm a monster. I felt so bad, and yet my priority is my career, which is why I can't be in a relationship right now. I'm not effective and I'm not good at it. But parents don't really have that choice. Ironically, the marital dissatisfaction, precipitously climbs. Like you're more miserable after you have kids, but you are also less likely to divorce. There's this concept of, well, if we're going to be miserable, God damn it, we're going to do it together. Parenting is in a way a business. You need a partner to help you. One of my friends, she was married and just miserable. And she had 2 little kids with this guy. And I'm like, girl, leave. And she's like, I need the labor. I cannot leave. Like my kids are too young. I'm going to gut it out for 2 or 3 more years. And then I will, but I need him to come home and go grocery shopping when I'm stuck with the kids. I need him to change the diapers. I need the extra income. And she's like, I feel so fucking trapped. I feel so trapped, but the logistics are what they are. And I think this concept scares so many of us off from marriage is the feeling of being trapped. And like I said yesterday in the other video, you can get out of a marriage, you can get out of a job, a city, a haircut, whatever. You can't get out of parenthood. Studies also confirm that at the end of the day, it all falls on mama, right? Dad helps, but mama is mama. And one of my best friends in New York, she's not the breadwinner in their relationship, but she's definitely the high earner. And their lifestyle is predicated on her income and her working. And she works a ton. And people are like, don't you want kids? And she's like, look at my life. Show me where the gaps in time are. Show me where my boredom is. Nowhere. If I have a baby, I don't get to stop working. I'm still mom. Mom is king, right? You know, mama is mama. So I have just imported something that people do full-time into a life that already has something that I do full-time. Who can argue with that? I mean, when you look at it that way, and that is the realistic, logistical way of looking at things, it sounds ghastly. Ghastly. We have more data. One thing that's important to note is the decrease in marital satisfaction leads to an overall decrease in general happiness. We all know that if you're in a shitty relationship, it's really hard to look at your life and be like, I am so happy. It's this house of cards. It's a stack of dominoes that starts to fall. You no longer have a lot of gratitude that you're cultivating because all you can think about is that fuckboy, that husband who didn't bring home what you needed to, and everything else decreases. You're more miserable overall in every category. And that's not surprising because every category is affected by having kids. Now I know what you're saying. Shallon, what is this gloom and doom video? It makes me want to go get my tubes tied. Are you trying to tell people not to have a baby? No. I'm telling you to walk in the light of the truth, okay? Here's the thing with data. Everyone wants to think that it doesn't apply to them. That's not me. That's not me. I'm in that little 33%. Okay, let's go back to that plane crash example. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. I'm not a gambling man, right? I don't like to roll the dice on things. I assume I'm not, if it's, that's them, it's not me. No. I assume I'm a them. Because I look around at my life and I'm like, okay, well, some people can eat whatever they want and not gain weight. That's not me. I'm a them. Some people drive every day and they've never gotten in a car accident. No, I've hit a deer. I'm a them. Some people dropped out of 10th grade and now they founded a Fortune 500 company. Really? I've never met any. We're probably a them. So when I look at this data, I'm going to assume I'm basic as fuck because I would rather err on the side of, yeah, I'm basic. This is going to have a negative impact on my relationship. I want to know that up front and maybe have a baby with someone who isn't my romantic partner. You know, maybe it's a guy that we're friends and he wants a kid or I get knocked up. I'm like, hey, you don't need to be involved. You can send me a check every month. That's the way it is. I would rather know what I don't have than operate under the assumption that this flowery, magical scenario is going to materialize when 67% of the time it does not. Because nothing is worse than feeling disappointed in your partner, in your life, in your own feelings of happiness. I thought this was going to change everything. I thought this baby was going to make everything perfect again. I thought it was going to make him love me. You know the number one time men cheat on women? When they're pregnant. When they're pregnant. Trash. But that indicates that, the baby isn't even here. If the woman thinks, if she's acting like she just needs so much and she's so needy, there's not even a third party here. You know what I love to do? You know what I love to watch? Shows about polygamy and plural marriage and sister wives. I love it. I find it fascinating. And I don't know why people like trash people. It's like, do whatever you want, dude. If you're all happy and consenting, I get it. And I've even said, I was like, I would consider that. If it was like my friends and I picking a guy, I only need to see a guy like twice a week. Like, that's enough. And people are like, that's crazy. You'd want to share your man? It seems crazy to bring a third party into your relationship, right? Another girlfriend, another wife, another boyfriend. But that person, that full-grown adult who doesn't need round-the-clock care, who is bringing resources, new labor, something to talk about at the dinner table, that seems crazy. What do you think a baby is? That too is a third party in your relationship. Only it contributes nothing. It takes. Of course, it's a tiny baby. And again, this isn't, oh, Shallon, you're just so down on motherhood. No, I am up on data. I am up on reality. I am up on looking at the writing on the wall, walking in the light of the truth, and asking myself, is it worth it to sacrifice my relationship with a husband or a boyfriend? Is it worth it to sacrifice my nipples? And obviously, a lot of people come up with, yes, it is. But only the people who are looking this data in the face. The rest of us don't do that. I'm sure it'll be fine. He'll love it once it gets here. He'll change his mind. Why do you think the divorce rate and the rate of marital dissatisfaction after kids are almost identical? About 60%. Why do you think that is? I don't think that's correlation. I think it's causation. Big difference. And again, this isn't because kids are awful, no one should have kids. It's because we are not being honest. We want to think we're in that tiny 30%. That's not going to happen to us. It's not going to happen to us. Plane crash. Maybe it won't. I don't want to roll the dice on my life, my happiness, my future, my relationship. I just don't want to do that. Now, there's ways around this, right? Money is said to be a huge factor. Obviously, if you're getting more sleep because you have a night nurse and you've got nannies, you have time to go out on dates with your friends. Yeah. You know, or not your friends. See, look, I'd rather hang out with my friends than my baby daddy, who doesn't even exist. And yet. But again, we have to assume we're in that category and we're operating under the data points that are available to us. So overall, Dr. Johnson has a takeaway that, you know, how I said the deck was like, but it's probably worth it. And I'm like, really? So he said that according to research, parents do rate parenthood as their greatest joy and their greatest satisfaction. So how did these two things work? What? When it comes down to it, people are willing to sacrifice their romantic relationships for their child. God bless you guys. God bless you guys. But you have to ask yourself, are you? Are you? Let's say that the data is what it is, and there's a 67% chance that if you have a baby, things are going to go more or less south with your boyfriend or husband. Is that okay with you? I remember a few years ago, there was I don't know if she was a blogger or an author, but she's like, I love my husband more than my kids. She like wrote this essay and it was like so incendiary. She's like, he comes first, the kids come second. Because if we don't have that harmonious relationship, it's affecting our kids. I don't want my kids to grow up in a household where like mom and dad are fighting and they're just roommates. I don't want to model that for them. I want to model people who are in love, people who prioritize their self-care. You can get chicky tendies in 20 minutes. I'm going to go take a bath, right? And there's something beautiful about that. And there's something smart about that. And there is something rare about that. That's not what women are told. That's not what parents are told. Your child has to be your world. You have to be a stay-at-home mom and you have to homeschool them also. Really? I mean, mom guilt was not a thing historically. You go out in the field, play, pick weeds, do whatever you need to. Come back before it's dark. Try not to get eaten by a wolf. I don't know. That was parenting. That's kind of how I grew up. It's like, go play. I'm doing my thing. I'm not playing with you 12 hours a day. Even pets, we don't do that. And pets are amazing. Cowboy goes to his little day camp during the day. He loves it. And my mom's like, I can't believe you send him away during the day. I'm like, I didn't send him to a gulag, for God's sakes. I sent him to a ranch with other dogs. I'm not a stay-at-home dog mom. I have to work. I can't play with a dog 13 hours a day. No. And I refuse to be made to feel guilty about that. That is how it works. It creates more harmony between him and I. I know I'm sorry to be like, my dog is my child, but it's all I have. Like, it's all I have to compare it to. So you need to take a real good look at your relationships. And if you are willing to roll the dice, okay. One thing that he advises is to get real clear about roles and expectations. Because studies show that after people have kids, the woman spends more time in the home, the man spends less time. He spends more time working as the financial burdens have increased. The woman has more emotional, relational burdens. Mom is still the on-call parent all the time. And so that can lead to a lot of frustration. The mom comes home, she's isolated. It's like, the dad's like, I'm so tired from work. She's like, well, do you want to know what went on in this house today? She doesn't feel like she has a break. He doesn't either. So it's good to define the roles. He's Mr. Mom. He stays home. I earn the bacon. I make the kids breakfast. And then that's my duty for the day. And he does everything else, or vice versa. But if we think that it's just going to work itself out, 67% of the time it doesn't. And I am one to believe that even if 30% of people say their satisfaction has gone up, I kind of don't believe that. I think people misreport because they're ashamed. They feel guilty. They don't want to acknowledge that as the truth because seeing is believing. Once you say it, once you say out loud, I am not happy in this marriage. He's a shitty partner. Well, then the cognitive dissonance kicks in. And then you have the burden of, I have to do something about this. So if you're thinking of having a baby with a fling, someone you truly don't know that well, even someone you do know that well, who maybe you just haven't been together that long, and you think this is going to bring you guys closer, it's not. It's not. Maybe in some ways, but over time, it will bring you closer as business partners, as lovers, as flirty people. The data says no. And if that's okay with you, if you're like, you know what, I'm fine. I really want a baby. I want to grow my family. I want to do this. I will love him more seeing what a great dad he is because I know he's going to be a great dad. Then girl, go, yeah. But like I always say, walk in the light of the truth. Hopefully we're all in that 30% category where no, having a baby is amazing. Obviously some people are, because otherwise people wouldn't keep having them, right? You wouldn't keep having them. We'd all die out. But walk in the light of the truth. Be honest with yourself. Define the roles with your partner and make informed decisions. You are not a passenger in your own life. Your husband is not a passenger in your life. Keep that in mind. And move forward purposefully and proactively into your future instead of reactively and like an ostrich with your head buried in the sand. I want to know your experience with motherhood. If you're being honest, did satisfaction go up, go down? Do you agree with the findings of this study? I mean, these aren't my findings. I'm just reading the news, people. Tell me what you guys think. Did this data kind of give you pause and make you think a little differently? And do you think Halsey is going to be in it for the long haul with her baby daddy? Or is this going to be something that maybe fizzles out when the diapers get dirty? I'll see you later, Shalligators.